Greetings, family. It is on once again with your spiritual journey program. With yours truly, Bakari Jambor. My wife, Amani Jambor, is the co-founder. And EY Pele Movement, we focus on your spiritual, your physical, and your financial well-being. Hopefully, everybody weekend has been going well. This past weekend, we went to New York to bury my grandmother, to pay our respects to her and to honor her and, to just focus on the positive things about her. As we all know, we all have an expiration date here in this earth. So I'm so grateful she lived a very long life, 91 years old. Definitely made a positive impression on my life before she transitioned. So we buried her on this past Friday, a homegoing service. So we celebrate her life. And I'm so grateful to be able to sit here with you on today and to be able to celebrate life. And while I was up there, there's some wonderful things that had happened. Sometimes we don't know uh, that we're actually in tune, man. We're just going with the flow of the spirit. And that's one lesson I have learned in life is just to just go with the flow. And while we were up there, we was trying to select a place for us to go have brunch, my wife and I. And it was a couple places that was there, this particular restaurant. And I was getting ready to select another location, but it came to my spirit, no, go to this location. I said, well, all right, then I'll just go to this location. And went to the location, and lo and behold, I ran into my first cousin. Now, I'm a person that I don't believe in coincidences, right? And my wife and I, we were just talking about family, and interacting with family and everything else like that, and I was standing up at the waiters area there where they prepare to seat you at. And I was standing there and I seen my cousin out of my peripheral vision. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute. I said, that looks like my cousin, you know? And she's my first cousin, man, on my mother's side. We grew up together, man, and so I was like, cousin, she's like, oh my goodness, cousin, what you doing here? And she didn't know that my grandmother had transitioned. Hey, peace and blessings, family. How you doing, brother Alex? Thank you so much for tuning in, my brother. I appreciate it. And so, long story short, man, that was a blessing, especially during the time of when you're grieving and what have you, And so that just uplifted my spirit to see my cousin, man, And secondly, my wife and I, in the city that I'm from Rochester, New York. That's the city and state I'm from. I was born and raised. Grew up in the 585, New York stand up. If you're a New Yorker, stand up. If not, oh, I feel sorry for you, man. Nah, I'm just playing, man. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate everybody tuning in, wherever you're tuning in from. Please let me know as well. Leave in the comments where you're tuning in from. And so today's spiritual journey message is simply the blessing of following the spirit. My wife, I told her that New York has beaches. She was surprised about that, that New York had beaches. Like my cousins and I, we grew up, we went out to the beaches and things of that nature. So, I was used to that, here in the state of Tennessee, like there's not a whole lot of beaches here, in the area that we're particularly in. We moved here so we could expand our real estate portfolio. And I tell you, man, it's been a challenge without the beach because my wife, she grew up in the beach life. My wife is from South Florida. You understand? Like she grew up near Miami, you know, and so that was like only 45 minutes away from us when we lived down there before we moved up here to again expand our real estate portfolio. But long story short, I took her to the beach in Rochester, New York, and the beach is there. I took her to Lake Ontario Beach. There's another beach there called Ontario Beach. And so I took her to the other beach first, Lake Ontario. I said, let me take her here first. And then after that, we'll go to Ontario. Now, at first, I was going to go to Ontario, but this came to me, hey, go to Lake Ontario Beach first, then go there. So when we arrived there at the other beach, we ran into this gentleman who was a seer. Queen is out there. We ran into the gentleman who's a seer, and for some of you, you may be more familiar with the title prophet. And we ran into this gentleman, and I don't believe in coincidences. I know it was divine. And this guy began to give us, my wife and I, a word, and it was on time. I mean, he was spot on, didn't, he hit it. He hit the mark. You understand what I'm saying? And from there, my wife was led to sow a certain amount of money into this brother, right? And so, like shortly after that, like before, let me back it up a little bit here. Because before we went to the restaurant, she did this. And we went to a restaurant there in New York. It's called Rochester, New York, called Allah's Kitchen, right? It's a vegan spot there, So we was led to go there, a little later, we was going to go ahead and see the water, take her out there to see the water. And then we go over there later after we do that. And so, yeah, that's true. Ran into two gentlemen. That's true. That's true. Ran into another brother that's there. That's true. But specifically though, this one brother, he gave us a word about some things in our life, and my wife, she heard it, I heard it, she received one, I received one, and she sold some seed into this brother's life, man. And it was a certain amount of money that she sold, right? So we go over to the restaurant there, and we looked at the menu and stuff like that. There was a couple of things that wasn't there, what I'm saying? So this brother, was impressed upon his heart, to bless us because of, certain items wasn't on, the menu and what have you. So it was just pressed upon his heart, hey man, here's a blessing. And this brother put a blessing in our hand, man. And I promise you, it was the same amount of money. Now, my wife, right? My wife told me this afterwards because she didn't look at it and I didn't look at how much he put into my hand. You understand? I just, okay, thank you, brother. We appreciate that. Your blessing, man. No problem. It's not a problem at all. We understand things happen. You understand? And so when I opened up my hand, my wife, she said, oh my goodness. She said, that's the same amount of money that I gave to the seer. I was like, are you serious? Man, she pulled out the receipt from the ATM and it was the same amount of money. The same amount of money that brother put in my hand. You understand? So a long story short, it was that amount that was given to me, right, was the same amount of money that I actually had given to a friend. And I told this friend, you don't have to pay that back, man. You good. I understand you're going through some things, you good. So what am I saying? I'm talking about, the blessing and following after the spirit. A lot of times, beloved, we don't really know. And some people try to make it sound like they just know all the time. And listen, I have a gift. I have the same gift, right? My wife does too, right? And the truth of the matter is sometimes I don't know. I'm just going with the flow. I'm just following my spirit. I'm following what's after my heart. I'm following after what's in my mind, right? And a lot of times we don't know and we don't understand because sometimes it's not going the way that we think it should go. Can we just be honest about it? Sometimes things does not always go the way that you want it to go, but it's going the way that it needs to go. But because we haven't matured in that area of learning how to accepting the perfect will for our lives, that divine will for our lives, sometimes we act like little children, that don't get their way. right? You know, the little children that fall out, start fussing, start crying, start throwing a tantrum, start throwing stuff around in some cases, you know, just start having a fit, right? And then we start even questioning, you know, the divine, because it's not happening the way that we want it to be orchestrated. So now, oh, I don't believe in this no more. You know, this is fake. This is not real. Because now check this out. Now this is interesting because this is the way I was, right? You know, it'll go my way, and when it go my way, oh, the divine is real. Oh, the divine is real. The divine is real, right? But when things don't go my way, sometimes Bakari start acting like that little child and start throwing a fit and getting angry and getting frustrated, right? Because it's not going the way I want it to go. And then I start questioning the power of the divine now that things are not going my way. Okay, now the divine, oh, you know, that's not real. You know, it's amazing how when things go my way, oh, it's so real. Oh, it's real. Oh, it's the real deal. This is it right here, right? But when things don't go my way, I found myself acting like just like that adolescent, just like that adolescent child, having a fit and not understanding that all things are working together for my good. Listen, sometimes we feel on the rush and we get upset too. Sometimes we feel like, oh, I'm running late. Like, you know, hurry up. You know what I'm saying? Let's go. And how many of you experience this when you get down the road, there's an accident? How many of you have been there before? How many of you have experienced something in your life before and you are actually happy rather that it didn't go the way that you wanted to go, because had it went that way, it really wouldn't have worked out in your favor? Listen, trust the process. Trust the process. I bear witness to you that if you just follow the Spirit and you just trust the process, all things will work together for your good. Listen, had I not been through the tough times in my life, then I would not have had the mental toughness to be able to deal with those tough times in my life. I used to think people was crazy that used to say that. Oh, I'm glad I went through that. Then when I started facing things in my life because of what I went through prior, it helped me in my present to deal with those situations. Trust the process. That's what I just wanted to share with you all this evening. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you all. Got love for you all. Just trust the process. That's a message for you. There's a blessing in following after the Spirit. There's a blessing in following after the Spirit. My wife, when she obeyed what she heard in her spirit, when she followed her spirit, blessings followed her obedience. Follow the Spirit, and the blessings will begin to flow into your life. Learn how to accept your destiny. Learn how to accept that what's meant to be, will be, was not meant to be, will not be, so let it be. I live by that. I promise you, it gives me peace. Learn how to accept those things you cannot change, and learn how to work on those things that you can. And watch how your life begins to have more peace, more joy, and you will find that you will be blessed exceedingly abundantly above all that you could even ask to think. Learn how to have a mood of gratitude. And I like to say my attitude is servitude and my mood is that of gratitude, because that will determine your altitude. Learn to follow the process. My brother Alex, he said, we are here just to fill the spot where God already wrote about in our lives. Absolutely. Our lives is divinely orchestrated. Our lives has already been authored out. You've already been destined for greatness. You just need to be able to recognize it, accept it, and when you accept it, then that's when you walk in it. But when you reject it, then you can't walk in greatness because you're not accepting greatness. Whatever you accept is what you get. All right, family, this concludes this Sunday session, The Spiritual Journey. Make sure you tune in on Thursday, okay? Every Sunday and Thursday, we go live on Facebook. And I just started going live on Instagram as well, okay? And so we'll be doing these messages every Sunday and Thursday at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. So excuse me today. We just flew in today. You know, I'm ready to rest. So I came on here earlier than what I normally do so I can rest myself. You know, one thing I've learned is self-care. You know, you cannot neglect yourself and take care of everybody else, because you will find yourself broken down and everybody else built up. You know, so in order for you to continue to do your mission, you got to make sure you take care of yourself, then you can take care of others. Be blessed, beloved. Love you so much, Vibe Tribe. We greatly appreciate you all. I'm out of here.